Hi everyone, Adam here, part-time prospector out of Massachusetts, and this is Nice Guys Prospecting. So today's mission is these buckets over here. We're going to be home-based sluicing today. We're going to take these that I've gotten on various trips throughout the summer, and we're going to rerun these through the Handyman Highbanker. All these buckets have been run once, but at various times, and from various places. The Handyman Highbanker throughout the summer has gone through all kinds of different mods, starting with the mat. Used to only be small refills straight through. Now we got small, medium, and large. So you never know. There could be some missed gold. You know, this is being a homemade Highbanker. There's obviously room for error. So to make things interesting, just in case there isn't any gold in there, I got these 3 pieces of gold right over here. And what we're gonna do is run those 3 pieces of gold, the first scoop of gold. So we're gonna run those through first, and then run every bucket in after. So we're gonna basically test how good is this Highbanker. So we're gonna start sluicing. And after I'm done running all those buckets through, we're gonna move over to the Handyman Helper. We'll take the cons from the Handyman Highbanker, run them through the Handyman Helper, see what we got left. Hopefully we'll have our 3 pieces of gold we got here, and maybe some extra flat poops and flicks and so. But until then, we'll get back at you. Alright, let me give you a look at the setup. What we got going on is obviously the BB3R model powering our Highbanker. Remote activated, of course. Super cool. And we got our hose running into our bucket, feeding our Highbanker. So this being a well water setup, I'm not very worried about wasting water. It's coming right out of the ground from right over there anyway, 200 feet underground from the house. And it's just going right back in the ground. And you may notice I don't have a catch basin over here. That's right, we're taking full risk with this. We're gonna go get our gold, throw it in our first scoop, and pray, I guess. So this is interesting and dangerous to try to film, but here we go. There are the 3 pieces. Make a little smiley face, isn't that cute? And we're gonna put them in our first scoop. Make sure we get them off our finger here. Looks like it. Make sure. Alright. Shouldn't have a gold in on the finger. Let's throw it in there. The first scoop. Oh, before I do, almost got to turn the water pressure back up. Give me a second. Alright, still got our scoop here. Here we go. Please, baby, hold my gold. And away we go. We got the first scoop in there. And we're just gonna go through the monotonous task of running all this dirt. I'm guessing it's gonna take me about an hour, hour and a half. But we're getting at it. We'll get on this bucket, move on to the next one. And we're sluicing, baby. I can't think of more of a stress test than this. Running 5 full buckets through your Highbanker with the first scoop being the gold. This is risky. And we're not going to exactly be nice to the Highbanker either. We're just going to keep feeding it through, feeding it through. Beautiful day out here today. It was raining this morning. Lucked up, sun came out. Hey. Getting out in the field wasn't in the cards this weekend, but hey. We got some buckets to sluice at home. Let's sluice it. It's always good to know your equipment. Can you trust it? And if this Highbanker passes this test, hey, I know I'm wasting my time doing cleanouts out in the field. Just wait till the end. Or not. We will see. Like I said, the point of this is ultimate stress test. And if I mess up, I know I can find gold in the backyard again. That'd be cool. Oh, and speaking of that, for those who watch the channel and see my shorts, I said I might have found some gold in the backyard, which I might have. First hand had those two nice little flakes in it. The next two had nothing. So possibly a victim of cross-contamination. Maybe didn't clean the pan too much or good enough. But we'll see. There's so much laminite, hematite staining there. I might actually bake the ponds and see if we can get some of the gold out of the sulfides. If there is gold in the sulfides. We will see. But that's for another day. I need to start sluicing away. That's one of the things I love about this hobby. It gets you thinking. If you're into building stuff, it's kind of fun. You know, you kind of just look at how other things are made, how other people do things, and you know, put your own spin on it. It's kind of fun. This is a paint tray. You know, put a some painting in the basement, or I could find some gold. What would you do? Would you paint, or would you find gold? Now what I'm doing here is every once in a while I'm reaching back and knocking off the big rocks, because I got this extra big riffle here. It helps hold down the mat, and this original setup was a sluice box that you get from Bass Pro, and I used to have this metal set of riffles and then that grate, actually this grate here in between it. But obviously I cut that out and put the tree mat in, because nothing's better than the tree mat. But every once in a while you get a little bit of a catch here, and you check it over. As you can see, she's cleaning out pretty good. I don't see any light blondes in there, nothing but garnet. Do I see my pieces of gold? Not at the moment. Hopefully those are still in there. This is because we're gonna have an interesting time trying to prospect that. Oh, this pine, all the pine falling down this time of year. It's interesting. Oh yeah, look at my handyman helper. Already filling up with the pine. We'll have to get the pool skimmer out or something. Actually, I don't have a pool. Fishing net. Yeah, I might have a fishing net. Well, I'm a little bit of Frisca. Get back to work. Until then, we'll get back at you, huh? All right, we're one bucket down. Moving on to the next one. Got a nice little pile of minus whatever that grade is. Big sluice pile down there. And hopefully, my gold isn't down in that sluice pile. We're gonna get on to the next bucket. As well as, here's our collection of things that aren't gonna go in the ground. This glass and rock. I mean, screw. This rock had me going for a second there. Fool's gold, you bastard. We'll get back at it. Okay, we have 2 buckets down. Going on to the third. Got a ever-increasing tailings pile. And sluice flow, I guess. We're gonna get back at it. A collection of glass and a couple nails and things. On to bucket 3. All right, bucket number 3 is now complete. Had to run up to the house, grab a sweatshirt. Once the sun goes down this time of year, it gets cool quick. As well as, had to grab my phone cord. Of course, my phone was dying, but luckily, my equipment is prepared for that. The BB2 model obviously has phone charger, just like the BB3R over there with the remote to everything. But either way, we're gonna get back on to bucket number 4, run that baby through, and then obviously get on to bucket number 5, and hopefully we still got our gold, because we still got our handyman helper to play with. Can't wait to get on to that bad boy. But until then, we'll get back at you. All right. We got 4 buckets done. On to the last bucket. That's kind of a lot of material to be running all at once. Close to 20 to 25 gallons worth of material here. But we're going to do it. For science sake, I guess. Run the Handyman Highbanker to the ultimate stress test. So let's get back at it. All right, I want to show you guys something here. I've been looking at this little piece of copper wire the entire time. That little thing hasn't gone anywhere. Let me throw a scoop in there and show you. Piece of copper wire staying in the dream mat. You would think the gold would. Check that out. Where is she? There she is. Good signs anyway. Gonna get back at it. And that's it. The last bucket. Number 5 is done. Now it's the moment of truth. I'll shut her down. Did it hold my gold? Let's check on that piece of little copper wire. She's still hanging on? Oh yeah. Still there. Another one down there too. Still in the same position. Another one right next to it actually. Good sign. Well, let's get to it. Take a look inside the indicator mat. Hopefully the gold stayed right up there. Like always, Handyman Highbanker. Simple to use. Let's take a look. Well, I see plenty of pieces of copper wire. Definitely from the floor of my basement. But I'm not exactly seeing my pieces of gold yet. Hopefully they're in the dream mat. Let's get that in a pan, huh? Alright. We're going to get our Highbanker in a bucket, clean them up. We're just going to stick the whole thing right in there. Just like so. Oh, I just needed in some water. Dang it. Just like Jeff Williams always says, you're gonna get wet. I don't think I was gonna get wet this time. A wing nut holds this plate in. I'll show you in a second. Holds the dream mat to the top of the Highbanker. Give it a nice little rinsing. This little riffle mat, little metal piece of metal, acts in a riffle, and holds the mat in place. So now, fold the mat down. Oh, nice like. Get it out of the way. Let's give our indicator mat a nice vigorous cleaning. Nice and clean. Mat's out, nice and clean. Let's get this in a pan. Pan. Riffles going that way in case the water splashes over. I tend to do that a lot. All right. You can see a lot of garnet and a lot of wire. Let's see. We got some gold. Get a quick wash back before we throw it through the Handyman helper. Please don't make me look silly. Ha! I see a piece. We got one at least. Oh, we got two. Okay, okay. We got two. Now we're just looking for the Wu-Tang symbol with a little bit of mercury stuck to it. And it's right there. We actually did it. That's 20 to 25 gallons classified material through the Highbanker with the gold as the first scoop. Oh, I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. Well, now that we know our gold's in there, let's run it through the Handyman helper and make sure that works. Wow. Oh, I don't look stupid today. Oh, that's great. That's great. We're having a great day. All right, we're over here set up with the Handyman helper. Got a spoon. I'm gonna have to get myself a nice golden spoon like the Flower Gold Wizard has. We got the BB2 already set up over here, plugged into our Handyman helper. And we're gonna start sluicing away. Break that over a little bit. I don't know if I should be putting this big of material in there, but we're gonna do it anyway. Tried to put a little catch basin down here, but it doesn't exactly fit in my pan. But I really don't care at the moment how things go. The fact that the Handyman Highbanker held the gold from the first scoop to the last with nearly 25 gallons of classified material. I'm happy as a clam. And this bad boy right here, she's only existed for less than 24 hours. And we're already putting it through the test. Jeez, look at all that copper wire from my floor. But that's what happens when you're playing with electrical things. You get copper shards and THHN pieces everywhere. But let me run the rest of that through and we'll check it out. All right, we got everything run through the Handyman helper. Everything cut down the bottom there, kind of, sort of. Now you can see plenty of copper wire in there. Let's get that in a pan. Let me see if I can record doing this. But we're just gonna shut down our BB2 battery box right now. And these are hot glued in there. These shouldn't move, but this one here is supposed to move. So let's see if I can maneuver this with one hand here. All right, and see if I can get that out without dropping anything. Yeah, it popped out pretty easy, not bad. Put that right down in our pan, all gingerly like. Very nice. All right. Well, give this a little washing. Now, right at the moment, I kind of got to flush it like this. Because the way these pumps work, they need to be primed. Which is easy when you start it up. But these two pumps being two for $10, I wasn't really trusting their waterproofness. So I mounted them kind of high with the hoses going down like that. A couple legs in the front. And for the time being, she holds herself quite well. And if you want to start it up, you got to do something like this. You turn it on, give it a little hey-o, and she's going. So, not too bad. But let's see what's in the pan, huh? Alright, sun's going down and things, but let's see if we can do a live pan back. See what we got going on. See if we can at least see those 3 pieces of gold we started with. Yeah, doing this with one hand. A little harder than I thought. Get a little more light over here. Alright. Do those like kind of forbidden swirls. Well, there's one right in the middle there. That's the Wu-Tang symbol. You got one right next to it. I'm just looking for number 3. There it is, right up there. The one that kind of looks like rotisserie chicken. Awesome. Alright, let me pan this back the right way, see if we got any extra gold in there. Alright, hopefully this will show up in the camera. But we got a couple extra pieces of gold like that one, and a couple other little fly poops kicking around. A little one down there. But our test pieces, 1, 2, 3, obviously there. And a couple extra fly poops, as well as a whole bunch of copper wire and a whole bunch of buckshot. But either way, you could say that's a wrap. I mean, successful test. Handyman Highbanker. Quite the reliable unit. I can't deny those results. 25-ish gallons, classified materials, straight through, gold on the first scoop. She stayed there. Gold stayed there. And we gained a little more. So, Handyman Highbanker, as well as the Handyman Helper. Pretty dang cool. Ooh, let's go through that. Make sure we didn't leave any in the tailings of the Handyman Helper before we go. And just as reliable as the Handyman Highbanker, the Handyman Helper. Nothing in there but black sands and a big piece of lead that I kicked down the bottom. But regardless, both units work perfectly. Gotta say, quite proud of myself on this one. The equipment works. Can't deny these results. Well, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of Nice Guys Prospecting. Like always, got a whole bunch of stuff to clean up, but I'm not gonna care today. Successful test all around. Happy as a clam. But those dreaded words from every YouTuber. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Helps build the channel. But until then, until next time anyway, I'm Adam for Nice Guys Prospecting. Thanks for watching.